Hi guys! So I'm just here in the kitchen getting myself something to eat, preparing myself. It is now 9:55. I'm getting ready to watch the last ever space shuttle launch. So sad. I think I've talked about this before. I think it's really, really disgraceful that we're ending our space program, but anyways, politics aside, it's kind of a bittersweet day. It's like, I'm happy to be watching it, but I could have been there. Start from the beginning. I was in Florida last week. By the way, I'm sorry that those videos are not up yet. There are like a ton of them that I have to edit and stuff, so I have been uploading them like in mass, en masse as they say. And so once I can edit all of that and put together little videos, then that'll be up for you to watch. But yes, so I went to Florida with the sole purpose of going for the last space shuttle launch, and then after I booked the tickets, they changed the date. Just my luck, right? So I am not there, obviously. So when we got home, I was actually like so bummed that I was like, how about we drive? Like, we leave on Thursday after I get home from school. And by the way, I started school again. Summer term. It's okay. Yeah, so I wanted to drive, like leave on Thursday, get there for Friday, because I thought the launch would be around the afternoon, like 3 or so. And turns out that it's at 11:30 in the morning, so it wouldn't have worked out anyways, because from here to Florida is about 20 hours plus. So I'm home watching it on CNN. When the launch is actually going to happen, I'm just going to like turn the volume all the way up so that it actually shakes my house and I feel like I'm there. Yes, I'm one of those pathetic people, okay. Yeah, so that's basically that. So that's what I'm waiting around for. It's almost 10. My buddy Anderson Cooper is going to start reporting from 10. He's there, and he's going to get to see it, and he's tweeting all about it, and it sounds amazing, and I'm really bummed that I wasn't there, because it was on my bucket list, you know? You know when people make a bucket list? Not that I'm planning to die or anything, but I don't know, it's just one of those things that I've always wanted to do, is see a launch happen live and just feel like the ground shake and hear those engines and the sound barrier being broken. And I mean, like, that's just something that I've always wanted to witness. But it's okay, it's not gonna happen. Hopefully something else, you know, as exciting takes its place, as historic. But yeah, I'm watching from home here, so we will do it together, we will watch it together, and it's not going to be any less significant or less historic or anything like that. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
We're 26 minutes away from the planned launch of Atlantis, the last shuttle mission, live here at Florida's Kennedy Space Center. We are also anticipating President Obama to speak any moment now from the Rose Garden in the White House. Take a look at this, though. Atlantis and its crew of 4 are ready to make history minutes from now with the last liftoff of a U.S. space shuttle.
It'll be at that moment, when it's finally over, that you'll be able to exhale, take a breath, understand the significance of the moment.
But Americans have been fascinated with space exploration for decades.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon.
The first generation of astronauts became our national heroes. Missions that followed broke down barriers on Earth and beyond. NASA made the unimaginable happen before our very eyes.
4 high return temps. I was not reporting any RAF at this time.
Battles with red tape and unspeakable tragedy may have marked this program, but Americans still feel pride and patriotism when we hear the countdown.
0 and liftoff.
And hope.
I hope to become an astronaut.
Hope for the future of a program that will not end after this, the final launch.
T-minus. And off to Atlantis' computers has occurred. Solid rocket booster nozzle steering check and work.
20.
Firing chain is armed.
15.
Go for main engine start. T-minus. Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. The final liftoff of Atlantis. On the shoulders of the space shuttle, America will continue the dream.
Right away, Atlantis. Houston now controlling the flight of Atlantis. The space shuttle spreads its wings one final time for the start of a sentimental journey into history. 24 seconds into the flight, roll program complete. Atlantis now heads down, wings level on the proper alignment for its 8.5-minute ride to orbit. 4.5 million pounds of hardware and humans taking aim on the International Space Station. 40 seconds into the flight, the three liquid fuel main engines throttling back to 72% of rated performance in the bucket, reducing stress on the shuttle as it goes transonic for the final time. Engines now revving up, standing by for the throttle up call.
Atlantis, go and throttle up, no action, DT. No action on DT.
That call from Capcom Barry Wilmore, a transducer, instrumentation only, no action required. Atlantis now 15 miles in altitude, already 16 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 1 minute 40 seconds into the flight. Atlantis flexing its muscles one final time. Atlantis traveling almost 2,600 miles an hour, 21 miles in altitude, 24 miles downrange, standing by for solid rocket booster separation. Booster officer confirms staging a good solid rocket booster separation. Guidance now converging. The main engine steering the shuttle on a pinpoint path to its preliminary orbit. 2 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight. Atlantis already traveling 3,200 miles an hour, 35 miles in altitude, 50 miles downrange. The propulsion officer reports the orbital maneuvering system engines have ignited. Atlantis kicking on its afterburners for 1 minute, 23 seconds for the final phase of powered flight.
Atlantis, 2-engine tow. Press the ATO, 10.8. Press the MECO, 14.7. That's a good read back, Atlantis.
Because of the slightly late launch time, Capcom Barry Wilmore reading up to pilot Doug Hurley the updated abort boundaries for Atlantis, which is flying on the singular power of its 3 liquid fuel main engines, draining 0.5 ton of fuel per second from the shuttle's large fuel tank. 3.5 minutes into the flight, Atlantis traveling 4,200 miles an hour, 54 miles in altitude, already 120 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. 3 good main engines, 3 good auxiliary power units, 3 good fuel cells for Atlantis.
Atlantis, negative return.
That call from Capcom Barry Wilmore indicating that we're too high in altitude, too far downrange to return to the launch site in the event of an engine failure. However, Atlantis' 3 engines performing perfectly. 4 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight.
We're all listening in as well, and astronaut Katie Coleman is with us. Katie, in terms of what's happening now, what's going on?
Well, they've already gotten rid of the solid rocket boosters. We use up all the fuel, toss them off. Looks like they fall down, but they actually go up another 150,000 feet.
Is that right?
Because they're still on their way. Now, those things actually will land in the ocean vertically, get picked up, cleaned out. Could be used again, but in this case, not necessary. I'm sure they'll pick them up and clean them out, though. And now we're just waiting for main engine cutoff, which is going to be 8.5 minutes after launch. By that means, they've achieved orbit and they're on their way to space.
I mean, you guys have seen this a lot. This is the first time I've actually been here for it. It is completely different. It is such a cool experience. The power of it. I mean, we are. How many miles away are we?
About 5.
5 miles away.
Yeah.
The sound
crazy.
is deafening. Yeah, you feel it like go through you, and the light is so bright from the boosters that you can barely look at it. I mean, it's such a searing heat.
Television has never done it justice. I mean, that's clear.
Yeah.
I try, but I just try to tell people that it's like nothing you've ever seen, and I try to tell people that it's a big deal for people to leave the planet.
Right.
Even though it's gotten to be every day. I mean, that's what the space shuttle has given us is people go to space. But
you really do feel that they are leaving the planet. I mean, you feel that they're kind of like ripping a hole in the sky.
Exactly.
It's extraordinary.
They're traveling now over 7,000 miles an hour already. 5.5 minutes into the flight.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible. And I mean, to see that column it's just incredible. It's really rather remarkable.
Anderson Cooper is speechless, Mom.
where the wind is going, the light, the time of day, how long you can see the shuttle. It's always, so every launch picture is going to be different. And I think you'll look at everyone a little differently now.
The closest sound I can think of is, and it's like a pale comparison to it, is when, you hear a jet like breaking the sound barrier, you hear the boom of a jet overhead, but I mean, it's nothing compared to this. This is, I don't know how to describe it.
You just feel it through your whole body.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. Carol Costello is with spectators on the beach. Carol, from your perspective, I mean, that sound, which doesn't hit, it takes a while for that sound to actually reach. I'm sorry, Katie, what are we looking at?
I'm just looking at, you can actually see the main engine tank. We're about to separate in a couple of minutes, but you see the edge of the Earth there. So now you see how high they are, because you don't just see whole Earth behind them, you see the edge of the Earth.
To have gone that high that quickly is just extraordinary. I mean, we're all sort of still sitting here. It happened just seconds ago, and they're already...
Look at now, you can even just make out things on the Earth.
Yeah, they're going to be in space in like a minute and a half.
And you can, I mean, are you looking out the window are these astronauts at this point even looking out the window, or do they have so many things going on that they're not paying attention?
I think most of them have things going on, but if there's nothing going wrong, which on this flight we haven't seen anything go wrong, the mission specialists in the back can actually use the mirrors on their kneeboards to look out the overhead windows, and you can see the blue sky just change to the black of space. Any clouds just shrink like little cartoon things, just really small.
Right in about 1 minute from now is when they'll have main engine cut off, and then they'll separate the giant external tank. At that point, you're in space, right?
Absolutely.
1 minute.
I mean, they're actually already in space, 50 miles, and you're in space. But that's the end of the powered flight, and that means we're going to get rid of the big fuel tank, don't need it anymore. And that's why you'll see the fuel tanks on the bottom there. You'll actually see that separate. The shuttle will fly away and then do a pitch maneuver so we can take photographs of that tank and diagnose whether any pieces of the foam on the tank might have come off.
It doesn't look like it, but I just heard him say you're traveling about 15,000 miles an hour right now.
Exactly.
And when you hit MECO, main engine cutoff, you're at over 17,000 miles an hour. It looks like you're standing still.
And I think this view that you have right now, is that you can see the Earth actually getting smaller. I mean, the Earth was big. They were right on the Earth, and now it's getting smaller and smaller.
And how long will it take to actually get to the International Space Station?
You could get there quickly, but the fuel efficient way it'll take about 2 days to
Sunday morning is the scheduled docking.
Yep.
All right, main engine cutoff been confirmed. So now we're going to see. You can see it now. We're watching the separation.
And this is loud on board. This is really loud.
That's what I've heard.
There's explosive charges to do separation.
So what is actually happening?
Now standing by for external tank.
The shuttle is going to actually fly away from the tank there. So the tank stays in one place, and now the shuttle is going, and the camera is on the tank, so we see the shuttle gracefully arcing away.
Atlantis off the tank. Commander Chris Ferguson will be maneuvering Atlantis now into an orientation to enable Sandy Magnus to capture digital still
So a couple
imagery.
chances to look at the shuttle.
So at this point, then, how does the shuttle maneuver?
It's got jets that use fuel that when the two kinds of fuel actually combine, they make a gas, and that gives them propulsion. It's like a jetpack. But we've got them all over the shuttle so we can maneuver it. So now you're seeing that view
so we can move in all different directions.
Exactly. So they're actually maneuvering the shuttle so that they can then turn around.
This is crazy.
We'll be snapping picture after picture.